Hi everyone, I wanted to show you how I made these little miniature Gothic framed pieces to go on my wall. So I got these little mini frames from Amazon. They are just some little miniature vintage looking frames. They do come gold, but I just spray painted these black. Some more successfully than others, but that's okay. I kind of like the sort of gold peeking through in a couple of places. So they're flat backed. So what I first need to do is stick some black card onto the back as a backing, because they just come as these little ornate frames. They don't have any backing or glass or anything in them. So what I'm going to do is stick them onto some card, and this will give me a backing on which to stick my small Gothic-y items for display. So I'm just using some hot glue and sticking the card on the back. This is fairly thick card. You could use a little bit of wood as well if you wanted, but that requires more faffing about cutting and stuff. This is just to give it a nice background for whatever you're going to choose to display, and obviously you can use different colours. I just preferred to use black, but you could use gold, red, or whatever goes with your Gothic colour scheme. Then what I needed to do was cut out the card at the back. So what I'm doing here is just cutting around each frame, and then I'll just trim the card so it doesn't show through on the front of the frame, because it doesn't really matter what the back looks like, because that's going to be attached to the wall. Sorry this bit's off camera, but you'll see with another frame. So what I'm doing is cutting around slightly in from the edge of the frame, so I put the glue away from the edge of the frame, so I'm able to cut off the excess card with no problems. So then all you'll see is the frame with the black backing. Anywhere where you can see the card, just give it a trim. And I'm going to do this for all the frames. So as you can see, I'm just folding up the edge of the card and trimming off any bits that stick out. And it looks like that so far. I picked a matte black for the backing because it looks better. You could use material as well if you wanted. So as you can see, I'm just trimming down beyond the edge of the frame to make sure that the card doesn't show. You could of course draw around the internal measurement of the frame and then leave a small edge and cut it out that way, but I just did it this way because it's quicker and easier. And any little strings of hot glue, like you can see by my thumb, they're easily removed, just a case of wiping those off once I've cut the cardboard out. It's just where I've moved from one area of the frame to the other, and the little string of glue has followed the nozzle of the glue gun. Obviously it's easier on some frames than the others. There you go, so you can see that little string of glue just lifts off. So you can see they look quite smart and they look quite neat as they are. There's not really anywhere to put glass in these or anything, but that's fine. I don't need to for what I'm going to display in here. So I'm just going to cut round this last one just to get rid of the excess card. Like so. And obviously these are quite mini, these are mini frames as well. They're only about, what, 6 centimetres in height. So they're quite small, and they're probably about what? Although they might be like 6 centimetres across and 10 centimetres up of like height. They're very small anyway. So what I'm doing now is I'm just gathering the items that I want to display in these frames. I've got some parts of keyrings that I used to have, and this little mini fake raven skull that I got online. It's just a case of deciding which frame you want to put it in. It's just a little resin raven skull, so I'm going to stick that one in here because I feel this fits the best. I've just took it off something else because I used it for another project previously, but I wanted to use it for this. So you can use little miniature skulls like this. You can get them, you can get various ones. This is like just one that you could use to make into like a necklace or something, so just use that. Now I did want to use this white skull, but unfortunately it's made out of wax, and it didn't stick very well. But I would have preferred a white skull in the frame for this one, but never mind. So what I ended up doing is using some of the skulls, the resin skulls that I painted, that I made for keyrings and things before, and I found two of them fit into the frame, so I decided to do that. So for the second one, I'm gluing in 2 of these skulls. Originally they were glittery, and then I painted them black and put a bit of gilding wax over the top. You could of course leave them black and glittery if you wanted. I've also used hot glue before to make skulls in a little mould, so you don't have to use resin. Yeah, unfortunately this wax was a bit too soft for it to stick, so what I needed to do was just peel off very carefully the hot glue that was left on the card. Just try not to rip a very big area, and then you'll be able to actually put something else over the top of the damaged card, like this skull. So I used this skull in the end, which is a resin one. I may repaint it so I can get that bone colour, or I might see if I can find like some mini skull pieces or something. I'll have a think, but for now I've stuck that one on. And then for the rectangle frame, I wasn't sure what I was going to put in place, so I had a dig in my box to find anything that I'd got that would fit, that fits with the witchy theme. So as you can see, they look quite nice. There's a little set. So I had to dig in my box to think about what to put in that last little frame. You could put a small spooky photograph or picture in there, a little mini painting of a tombstone or something. I went with a little keyring planchette that I've got. I stuck that on in the end, and used that. And then once they are fully set, so once the glue has re-hardened, they look like this. To mount them on the wall, you can just use some of those sticky back command hook type sticky pad things that you can use to stick frames on walls, and they look like this. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.